2 birthing pod deck. So, you know, we'll basically go over that. This is pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. As far as kind of silver bullets that Daniel can birthing pod for, he has got 2 Zealous Conscripts in his main deck, 2 Wolffair Silverhearts, 1 Vorapede, only 1 Fiend Hunter, and 1 Phyrexian Metamorph. The rest of the deck is pretty standard. You're also going to find 1 Garruk, Relentless, and 1 Oblivion Ring, and then all dudes.
And Dusty's got the 2 Sword of Feast and Famine, 1 Sword of War and Peace split with 1 Dismember main deck.
Okay, so pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, pretty standard overall. Alright, Daniel leads with Copperline Gorge and the Birds of Paradise. Dusty comes back with a Seachrome Coast and taps it, untaps, thinks about what he's going to do. Decides on Ponder.
Gonna set some things up, get the show started. I see a Delver, I see a Snag, and it looks like a land.
Looked like an island,
well. Yeah. So he's gonna get some things started. Looking at Daniel's hand, I know there's a Thalia there. It also looks like there's a Blade Splicer as well. I'm looking at his deck list right now, and I don't see Inferno Titan in it, so I don't think he's not really going over the top with anything like Elish Norn or Inferno Titan. He's not really chaining up too high, as far as I can tell. But that red card that it looks like I saw was going to be a Huntmaster of the Fells, which he has 3 of. So
Dusty kept his 3 on top. He's setting up Delver to flip on Vapor Stag in the next turn. He fired a gut shot at the Birds of Paradise. Now it's back to Daniel.
Does he have the white mana? No whites. We were reliant on that Bird of Paradise for our Thalias and our Blade Splicers.
Looks like this Delver Secret is going to go live.
Yeah, that's bad news. I mean, he's got a Huntmaster, but I think he was, obviously fairly reliant on those white cards. That bird, basically, to be really good.
Killing the bird is huge there. This Delver with the Vapor Snag is going to do a ton of damage. He ripped another bird.
Okay, well at least he's going to be live a little bit.
He's probably getting bounced here.
Assuming he doesn't have a Snapcaster main or something, he's going to be fairly live. I mean, the nice thing here is that I'm going to assume that Dusty doesn't know that Daniel is playing like Nyapod, that he doesn't know he has white cards. So like there was all chance that maybe he just thinks he's red-green aggro, but he just killed the bird anyway. So
yeah, he just toasted with that 1 main deck Dismember.
Yeah.
And there's the Snag to flip Delver Secrets.
I'm looking at his hand. I'm looking at Daniel's hand right now. I guess it doesn't matter either way. I take that back. I was going to say that Copperline Gorge was the wrong thing to play because he has Rootbound Crag in his hand. But if you don't play Copperline Gorge that turn, it's going to come to play tap no matter what. So maybe he draws a basic. He drew a Cavity, and he had a Force in his hand, so he's okay.
Insect Elaboration smashes for 3, and it's back on Daniel with Dusty having all of his mana untapped.
Ooh!
Huntmaster of the Fells gets
sir.
Immediately mana leaked. This one's looking a little slim for the Nyapod deck.
He's going to need white mana, right? I would say he needs white mana right now, but the white cards that he can play, they've lost their relevance.
Yeah, they don't do anything anymore.
Yeah. You know, Thalia could have slowed him down. Blade Splicer could have put on a decent clock. But now, even if he rips Plains or something.
What is that?
He drew Zealous Conscripts, which also is not going to do a ton.
I mean, he can get a bunch of damage in if he doesn't have a way to answer it. That's 6 more to the face. Unfortunately, his 5th land came into play tapped.
Yeah.
So he's going to take another 3 to the dome.
See, the scary thing about Delver that people don't really realize, or it really goes understated, is how when it gets ahead, it stays ahead.
Yeah, because they always draw a mana leak. Yeah. I mean, Dusty just drew his 2nd one.
When this deck gets ahead, it's so good at staying ahead and putting the pressure on you that you really need to, a card like Blade Splicer, for example, that card does absolutely nothing now. The card like Thalia, it does absolutely nothing now. You need those cards to be in play on time to be able to keep up with this deck, because that's just how powerful it is.
Right, and it's basically a mono blue deck, the Delver deck.
Yeah.
Basically mono blue with 8 dual lands.
Yeah. 8 dual lands, and then like the best like non-dual land in the format.
And a million cantrips.
Yeah. And so now, he's looking, Zealous Conscripts is on the stack, and Dusty's going to give it a look just to make sure he knows what it does, but, does even, if he lets it resolve, does he even really care?
Let's say he mana leaks it, he puts him down to 8 on his next attack. 3 more turns. Still a relatively long clock here.
Yeah, you still got time.
It's funny, you were talking about how Delver's really good at staying ahead. I also think it's really good at coming from behind. Well, it was more powerful before with, like, Runechanter's Pike. That card could deal a ton of damage in this one swing, ended out of nowhere. Now they're not playing it anymore. But
and they're still good at coming back from behind.
Yeah, they're still good. Like sword, all the swords are great.
Yeah, Restoration Angel is really good at catching up in a game.
Moorland Haunt.
Yeah.
This deck is just really good.
I mean, you know, it's not something that you guys don't already know at home, but it just goes understated a lot. So I mean, we're at 8-8 right now.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of hard to say if he should have mana leaked that Zealous Conscripts or not, because this may come back to. I mean, he has Vapor. Dusty's hand has Vapor Snag mana leak.
Right. I feel like mana leaking was the right play there. He just doesn't have to worry about a race here, unless he's worried about, say, Inferno Titan, which is a legitimate threat. So
yeah.
Birds of Paradise comes down on Daniel's underwhelming turn 6, but the race is really close here.
The race is really, really close.
And now Daniel has a blocker, which is probably just going to block here, right?
I mean, I want to block, but at the same time, you know, I'm looking at Blade. When you're Daniel, you're looking at Blade Slicer and Thalia in your hand, and you're just going, you know, I'd like to be able to cast those spells too, but I like saving damage here.
There's the block. Does Daniel have any miracles in his deck? He always checks his draw.
No miracles. No miracles.
Just a good habit to have.
If you might as well get that. You might as well get in the habit of it.
Also, if you are XO or X1 or better,
and Dusty's now down to 2 after the Zealous Conscripts attack. He doesn't have any creatures to turn into spirits with his Moorland
Well, he
Haunt.
has a Vapor Snag in his hand.
That is true.
Vapor Snag and a leak. I'm just surprised he's like kind of taking this much damage.
5-2 now in favor of the Daniel Jackson's Niapon deck. He's obviously going to snag here.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he's allowed himself to get this low.
He did take a lot of damage. If he mana leaks there, he just has 8 more life to work with or 9 more life to work with.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like Daniel has any action in his hand. He has a Gavany Township and the Zealous Conscripts.
Yeah, and he's got the Conscripts. I'm looking at his mana base right now to see what was the likelihood that he was gonna peel a white land. He's got 1 Plains, 2 Sun Petal Groves,
4 Razor
and
Verge.
4 Razor Verge Thickets. Thickets were gonna come online too late anyway because they come into play tap that turn. So realistically, he had 3 draws at it for it to be. He had 3 draws at untapped white mana for those cards to be relevant. It makes me think initially that there might just be a mana base issue.
Dusty peels a Jataxian Probe and fires it off to see the hand we've been looking at. Gavany Township, Blade Splicer, another Township, Oblivion Ring, and Zealous Conscripts. So not a whole lot going on there.
I mean, he does have 4 Birds and 4 Avacyn Pilgrims in his deck to be able to tap for white mana, so he's more reliant on his creatures tapping for white mana. But when you have 2 Thalias, 4 Blade Splicers, a Fiend Hunter, 4 Restoration Angels, and an Oblivion Ring in your main deck,
it's a lot of white.
That's a lot of white to be kind of cheating on your mana sources.
Dusty Rip sort of feast and famine,
sort
and
of
this one's all
That's
over.
That's what I call that. Sort of good in game.
Maybe Dusty just played it perfectly because he knew it was on top.
Yeah.
And we're the dumb ones.
So looking at the sideboard for Daniel, I see 2 Sword of War and Peace, which they're fine. There's nothing really too exciting. 2 Combust are going to come in. He has a Threaten the Last Troll, and Joey and I talked about this with how Delver players are building their decks now. And a lot of people are playing 3 to 4 Phantasmal Images. Boarding into Thrun is more often a waste of a card.
Really?
Than actually doing something, because it's so often that they're just gonna be able to kill it when you cast it. They're saving. They just have images for everything, because it's such a powerful card right now that boarding in a Thrun, you cast Thrun in like this kind of match, and you're like, yeah, they can't counter it, and it's huge, and they're just like, all right, spend 2 mana, kill it, let's move on. So, I'm kind of against boarding in the Thrun, but that's just my personal opinion. He's got another Thalia to board in, which I think he's going to do.
It's a good card here for sure.
Yeah, it's really good. Plus he's on the play, makes it even better. I don't love Ray. I don't love Bonfires. He's got 2 Bonfires. He has 2 Arch Rails, which I don't really love. 2 Ancient Grudges, which are okay. And then another Gareth Relentless, which I actually think is pretty good.
Do you bring an Ancient Grudge here?
Well, I know that as from Daniel's side, if I'm thinking about sideboarding, I know that Dusty has 2 swords, because that's just pretty stock, and I'm assuming he's playing a stock list. But you know, it gets so little cards in the matchup.
Right, it's very low percentage.
It's really hard for me to want to bring in 2 of those, because if I draw 1, and obviously he doesn't draw a sword, I'm gonna be upset.
I just mulliganed.
Yeah, I just mulligan. So I always kind of have that difficulty if I want to board 1 in or not. And I mean, his deck seems like it's pretty well set up against Delver. You know, if I look at cards that he can sideboard out, he's got 2 Wolfers Silverhearts. He's got a Vorpede that isn't very exciting. Oblivion Ring isn't too exciting. Conscripts can be okay. And then he's going to board in some Combust, the other Thalia. So he might have just enough room to bring in the other Grudges. And just, you know, it's better than the cards he has access to.
And on the other side, Dusty's got a nice little transformational board here. He's got a Day of Judgment, 2 Tamil the Moon Sage, 2 Consecrated Sphinx, 2 Phantasmal Image, 2 Celestial Purge, 2 Divine Offering, 2 Ratchet Bombs, and 2 Dissipates. So he turns into kind of a blue-white control deck after sideboarding.
Which is what we found most of the Delver players are doing this weekend. That's just been pretty stock thing that everyone's doing now.
It's a natural progression.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think he's bringing in here?
I mean, I assume Day is going to come in. Tamil might stay on the bench for the draw and on the board on the play, and bring it in on the play if they play a 3rd game, because it seems like it's a little bit slow on the draw. Image is definitely coming in. I'm surprised he only has 2, because it's so good against this deck, but it's definitely coming in. Purge is probably going to come in because he has Hunt Master. Sphinx is really good against this deck as well, so I can see him boarding in up to 10 cards, or it looks like up to 9 cards. If he wants to hedge his bets against Birthing Pod, he can bring the 2 Divine Offerings. Looking at Daniel's deck list, the other targets for Divine Offering are his Blade Splicer token, and just Phyrexian Metamorph. So there's not a bunch of targets. And it's kind of the grudge problem that we talked about. But on Delver's side, they can kind of clear their resources with a Thought Scour or a Ponder, and you know, if they find a Divine Offering, okay, I don't need it, you know, and just make it go away.
I think the late game Jataxian role was actually huge there, because Dusty hadn't seen a white card for the whole game, and it probably would have affected the sideboarding decisions if he thought that Daniel was playing straight red-green deck that just had a horrible draw.
Yeah.
So what do you think that affects now that he knows he has Oblivion Ring or whatever other white cards?
He saw Blade Splicer, he saw Thalia. You know, he was gonna leave his gut shots in anyway, so that's not gonna change. You know, I don't think he's gonna board in a slower counter spell like Dissipate. You know, I think once again he's gonna bring in Day of Judgment anyway, but you know, he might consider bringing in Tameo now, where I don't think he would consider bringing it in against like red-green aggro, because his deck's a little bit slower. I think those are the initial changes. You know, I'm not really sure, you know, how else he wants to go about doing it. I think the big thing here is that Tameo is going to be a lot better on the play than it is on the draw. So I think he's going to leave those in the sideboard for now, and then if we do end up going to a 3rd game, you're probably going to see them there.
How about the Munogenic growth in Dusty's main deck? Do you think that stays in?
No, I think he's going to cut that. I think he'll cut that, because now that he knows he's not playing red-green, there's no Galvanic Bass, no Pillar of Flames, that sort of thing, he can safely cut that and assume that he is more of a Birthing Pod or creature-centric deck.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Glad you're here.
I do what I can. But hopefully, you know, I think, you know, this isn't a problem that Daniel can fix now, but if he looks back at his deck, you know, I think he was going to want more white mana. Like, Gaminy Township's a fantastic card. 3 is too many. You know, if you can't activate it, or you can't play your white spells, you know, then Gaminy Township doesn't matter.
Right, you need to have a board presence first for it to do anything.
Yeah, for it to do anything in the first place. And with how prevalent Delver is and how popular the card Gutshot is, you know, a lot of those we're seeing now only have 2, but Dusty's has 3. You know, you can't rely on these white sources of mana, Birds, and Absent Pilgrim to stay alive. So.
Oh, here we go. We have a dead Absent Pilgrim.
Yeah, and
on Daniel's side.
We cut back, and there's an Absent Pilgrim in the graveyard. There's a Delver on the table, and I'm assuming that there's probably a Gutshot in the graveyard as well.
Let's assume there's a Gutshot.
Yeah.
But Daniel found a replacement with Birds of Paradise, along with a second land and Rootbound Crag. So he's pretty well set up if this bird lives here. Can you see his hand there?
I can't see his hand too well. I mean, the brief small bit of it I did see, as I did see white mana.
Okay.
So
Dusty's coming out firing with 2 Delver Secrets,
we're hoping for a flip-flop.
as well as a second land for him. He's got a Sphinx in his hand.
I see Restoration Angel. I see Blade Splicer.
I saw Blade Splicer, yeah. And there he is. Blade Splicer's going to come in and make a 3/3 first striking golem. Can hold off those Delvers until, you know,
Yeah.
they grow wings.
Yeah, until moon falls. All right, well, he's safe for now. We're checking for blackjack. Dealer's safe. He gets by this time.
A third
That's
Delver
3 Delvers.
Secrets. This is going to be brutal.
So
If they flip.
I wish we could get a better idea of what Dusty's hand is, because we know that Daniel has Restoration Angel. So, you know, he's kind of okay against these. But, you know, if he has a Vapor Snag, then it doesn't really matter too much. But I don't think that he has one. I think he would have cast it by now. Just to reset that bird or reset a Splicer token.
Daniel feels pretty comfortable here. He's going to send his Blade Splicer and the Golem token. 4 damage. And refill with another copy of each.
Blade Splicer's like a really interesting card against Delver, because it can be like fantastic because it puts on such a good clock, and it can just be very bad because Vapor Snag is so prevalent in the format.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, bounce your token, you have a 3 mana 1/1.
Right. Oh, there's the 4th
And
Delver.
there's the 4th Delver.
Secrets.
Wow.
This is an interesting draw from Dusty.
This is, yeah. Yeah. All the things can die. Any Whip Flares in that deck? Any Whip Flares over there, sir?
Whip Flare would be a nice one. That is true.
All right, in there.
Piling in. Here comes 8 damage, Dusty. What's up? Think he has to block here?
Ugh. Is it 14?
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage. And okay.
No blocks, and the 3rd Blade
What game is
Splicer.
this that we're watching? Checking for blackjack. Ding 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 ding.
What does that even do?
Flip all of the things.
What does that
Any
even do
fogs
for?
over Can we have a fog one time? Pollen Lullaby.
Quads versus
Yeah, quads versus trips.
double trips.
Double trips.
Who wins?
I think Blade Splicer wins right now.
Blade Splicer looks like he's in really good shape. He only needs one of those Blade Splicers in play to give all of his golems first strike as well. Firing off the Tome Scour, or Thought Scour at himself.
Scour, yeah. He's
Tome
not
Scour
really
would be a nice
himself
one.
up. Would it? Would I don't think that's true. Moorland Haunt. I can't see if he milled a guy or not. Apologize for the bad camera angle. I'd love to know if there's a creature down there that he could chump block with.
It looks like a Mana Leak and Island or milled.
Yeah,
so.
Mana Leak and Island were milled. So
No luck.
Yeah.
And all the Delvers stayed home, so looks like they're going to be doing some blocking here.
Well, my opinion on that is if they're staying home, he's not winning.
Only the golems are coming here, right?
I think the real guys can come too.
Just getting some free damage.
Yeah, why not?
Lose one guy.
Yeah. What's it hurt to send all 3 in?
Yeah, I mean, Dusty needs Wrath of God here. Day
Yeah.
of Judgment.
That's just free damage that he's kind of. I mean,
Oh, well.
I wouldn't say it's free damage, but I mean, because like his blocks are still very bad for the first strike. But
Looks like they stayed home.
yeah, I mean,
Blade Splicer
they're not
stayed
sideways.
All right, so 3/3 first strikers coming in for Dusty's low life total of 6. Dusty's trying to figure out a way to block, and
Yeah.
he just throws 2 guys away.
Just throws
Goes
2.
down to 3.
He's gonna go. Yeah, he's gonna go to 3. He's gonna make a guy in the turn. I just don't think he can win. It's too far behind at this point. I mean, he does have Day of Judgment.
Daniel is very mana light. He's
Yeah.
stuck on 2 lands, so if Dusty does rip that Day of
Day of
Judgment,
Judgment, he can
he is
win.
going to be
He's
able to
a
pull
mana
right
leak.
back into it. Unfortunately, those 2 mana leaks in Dusty's hand don't seem to be much help right here.
But see, the thing is that he gets to keep playing this game. That's the thing. Dusty still has time to draw to it because those Blade Splicers did not attack last turn.
Right, right. I mean, they can still attack this turn, and
Yeah, and I feel like they're definitely going to attack this turn.
That's a little edge you get the more experience you get. You realize you can send in extra guys for free damage, essentially free.
Yeah.
Or you could just have zealous conscripts and shut the door right away.
Yeah, just close the door right away right now. All right, Restoration Angel says you don't have it just yet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's still lethal.
Still very lethal, yeah.
This guy has haste.
As long as he sends his Blade Splicers.
As long as he sends his Blade Splicer tokens this time. All right,
there you go.
Attack.
It's so frustrating when they see it.
Yeah.
Like,
you're hoping like maybe they miss it, and then like he peels Day of Judgment, and it's like, hey, we're back in the game, boys.
Justice.
Yeah.
Right, so that was a really quick game. Daniel just came out firing, and Dusty's quad Delver Secrets could not keep up.
It's kind of crazy because like if you're on Dusty's side, you're just like, I just lost to lost to Blade Splicer, where it's like that card's not that good against me because I have Vapor Snag in my deck. You know, like I just lose to like a bunch of golems that I can just bounce.
Drew the wrong 1 blue mana spells.
Yeah. So what sideboard cards did we see that game?
We didn't see anything from Dusty, did we?
I know he had Sphinx in his hand.
Oh, we saw Sphinx, you're right.
We saw Sphinx in his hand, and yeah, we didn't see anything from him, so we didn't see anything from Daniel, so.
Does the fact that Dusty got bashed by a bunch of artifact creatures mean that he's going to bring in Ratchet Bomb and Divine Offering here, if he hasn't already?
That's a good question.
It's a psychological thing.
Yeah. Does he overthink it now? Or reconsider what he wants to do?
Yeah, it's like winning a sealed deck game with a random card. You're like, oh, this card's awesome, when it's in actuality not very good.
Yeah, but it was just like the perfect card.
I won with this one, I can't side it out. It happens a lot to players as they progress through, the ranks.
It's a really interesting question actually, because like, is Dusty's thinking like, yeah, that's like the only way the guy can beat me. It's just like a bunch of Blade Splicers early, Ratchet Bomb is actually probably better than we gave it credit for when we talked about it previously because he has Hunt Master in his deck too.
He also has 8 birds and elves.
And he's super reliant on his birds and elves to be able to cast like his white card. So yeah, I actually think those 2 Ratchet Bombs should probably be in this deck. Because like then you can willingly let like a Hunt Master flip and then like blow up the Hunt Master, the Wolf, and the Golem token.
Yeah.
Just
let it flip, lose a guy,
get
his whole board. That seems like a decent trade.
I would agree. I would like that trade.
Does the Dissipate come in now that he's on the play?
I don't think Dissipate comes in, but I mean, there's no Cavern Souls in this deck. Oh, he has 1. Good eye, Sniper.
Never would have guessed, huh?
I guess that taps for white mana too. I guess I missed that.
How about Tameo?
I think Tameo should be in.
Definitely coming in?
I think it should be in, yeah.
I hope. It's one of my favorite cards. Probably my favorite card from the new set.
It's so underplayed.
It's so fun.
I think it's such a good card. It has to see play like in the next standard or something. That card's way too good not to just see like a bunch of play and frustrate people.
I know you watched Alexander Hayne just go off on Finkel with the Tameo Temporal Mastery.
Yeah.
Just draw a million, take every turn.
It's too good. It's just too good of a card. Like it does so many things. Like there's just some situations I was talking to people like when they were playing against the Pro Tour where like they could like attack to like get it down to like 2 counters, but then the guy would draw 4 cards.
Yeah, he's just drawing a ton.
Yeah, so then you're like in a situation where you're just like, I want to attack it with 1 guy and like knock it down 2 counters and then like up it, and then like you have to like strategically play around how you want to attack the card. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
That's awesome because like there's no other Planeswalker that's like that. Where like if you attack incorrectly and like get it down 2 counters, it's like, okay, like my Planeswalker's gone, but I drew 5 cards and now I'm gonna punish you with those. I love that aspect of that card.
Yeah, a lot of the times people just alpha strike at a Planeswalker and the other guy just doesn't block and pins his guy.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, I didn't need this to me anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on with this part of the game. Yeah, it's awesome.
I actually really love the card.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I wanted to see more play. I want there to be like some sort of expanding where that card can see more play and just some more cards from the new set in general. Just seeing more play because I feel like the new set has like made existing decks better, but it hasn't created a new archetype.
Well, here we are in game 3, and Dusty's leading off with Seachrome Coast into Ponder.
Ponderu, we see a Ponderu.
Ponder Plains. Oh, it's an island.
Ponder Island
Delver.
Delver.
That is pretty good.
That's not too bad.
We saw a similar early Ponder for Dusty in game 1, and he went on to not necessarily easily win that game, but he won.
He was in control.
He was in control. You're right.
I think it may have made it a little more difficult than I would have. I wouldn't say difficult, a little more risky.
He made it more entertaining.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Dusty is really thinking about this one. He kept Ponder on top.
Delver next and then Island next.
Does he need to smooth out his draw? No. He has 3 lands in his hand. All right, and Daniel comes right back with Razor Verge Thicket into Birds of Paradise.
I don't know about the ordering of that Ponder.
I feel like he could have been a little more aggressive with it, but it looks like he's going to play the control game here with Mana Leak in his hand.
Okay.
Just plays a second Seachrome Post and says go.
I guess he's just not that anxious to get a Delver and play and flipped. And that's a one-up.
Souls, hello.
That's a one-up, just so everybody knows at home.
You think he called human?
I have a feeling he may have called human. Had it.
It does have a lot of humans.
Had it.
That's true.
Had that.
All right, so Blade Splicer brings in his 3/3 friend.
And now it's the Blade Splicer game again.
And that Mana Leak just got embarrassed.
Yeah, that Mana Leak is very bad now.
I mean, Dusty still has the Delver hold up Mana Leak play this turn, but
that's still an option. But
a little less impressive now.
He's not even taking that road now either. He's just pondering.
He's just looking for help. Yeah. There's the Tameo right there.
I just don't like his play on turn 2. I don't like the way he set up his ponder. I think you just take that small window, you take that 1-turn window to get that part of the game over with, which is Delver flip.
Right, we got a Delver flipped, and now we can play whatever game we want.
Yeah.
And looks like Dusty immediately shipped the 3 cards off of Ponder for a new one.
I mean, clearly he hasn't seen Cavern Souls in the match, so he thinks that his Mana Leak is live. But if you know the composition of a Birthing Pod deck, there's more humans than not, and you know it's kind of free to be able to play a Cavern or 2, so it's realistic for that to be in the deck.
Dusty plays a second Ponder for his turn off of a fresh island. That is the Day of Judgment. That one's going right to the top.
Those one-ups are here, boys.
Day Glacial Fortress.
He's thumbing that day around like crazy. Where am I going to put it? What turn am I going to ruin him on?
Day Glacial Fortress.
Oh, okay, there it is.
An island.
What turn am I going to destroy all of his things?
He's going to bait him with the Delver Secrets. Going to force, or try to prod Daniel into playing a few more guys to race.
A little bit more.
Standard open players, when you finish your round,
it's like the old green decks that had Birds of Paradise into Wrath of God.
Yeah, like
those
the green white
sweet.
token decks. Yeah. Bird, elf, kill everything, play a Blastoderm, go.
Sometimes you get a ramp into Wrath of God.
I'm not above it. I'm not.
You're not above anything, Cedric.
That's true. That's definitely true.
All right, Blade Splicer and Golem Token smashing for 4.
Daniel's hand over there, you're going to see a Combust. He also has Grudge in his hand. And this is Sun Petal Grove. So he doesn't have like a lot of creatures this draw, but he actually has, you know, a decent amount of lands where like the last game he was very reliant on his mana creatures living. So if like Dusty had drawn the Wrath, he would have been like sent back to the Stone Age. But now he's actually doing okay.
Does he forget to flip here? We know he had Day of Judgment on top.
Now he drew Day off of Ponder.
Okay.
And now he's getting further set up. Now I'm not 100% positive if he has a Tameo in his hand or not, but what he looks like he's going to be setting up is like, you know, Dayu into Tameo.
Right.
You know, lock down the next guy that you play. I'm super far ahead now.
So, Snapcaster Mage flashbacked one of the Ponders in Dusty's graveyard, and looks like he kept a 3. Found a 4th land.
Things get pretty insane now because like if Dusty's able to like bait him into using these, he has at least 1 Combust. And I think he's going to use it now. Yeah, if he's able to like bait him into casting like 1 Combust, yeah, and that's like exactly what he wants him to do because he's going to be re-rafting him anyway.
Do you think Dusty should have attacked there? Like, he has a 1/1 Delver sitting there. I don't think he's blocking, right?
I don't think he's blocking either. Yeah, maybe an attack would have been good. Whatever you can do to get the combust out of his hand on Shake Your Bonbon.
Oh, hello.
Shake Your Bonbon, Shake Your Bonbon.
There's a lot of...
Before?
Daniel's playing a lot of cards into this Day of Judgment setup.
Yeah, like, this could not be going better.
For Dusty,
for
right?
Dusty.
He takes another 4 down to 12, or less than 12 now.
Yeah, he should. I think he's going down to 8 now. You know, his life is kind of low, but
it looks like he'll have this game well under control once this Day of Judgment goes off.
Gonna bounce a token.
We're still playing the waiting game here.
Yeah, I mean, he's got no reason not to.
It's an exercise in slow rolling.
That's right. It's an exercise in
for everyone at
discipline.
Home. Yeah.
Discipline. There's no rush. Use your life total as a resource. That's all you need to do.
I feel like Norman Chad talking about how to slow play a set here.
Don't ever compare me to Norman Chad, please. Please don't ever do that. He is a rambling buffoon.
Dusty says go with 4 lands up after vapor snagging the Golem token, putting Daniel to 19. Daniel's only got a 1/1 to attack with now.
Yeah, which means he's got to put some more creatures on the table.
Yep, it's looking good. And there's a Blade Splicer to do it. So it replaces the Golem token.
So see, he's a little afraid to get him for 1 just because of Restoration Angel.
Yep. Just the presence of Restoration
just the
Angel.
idea of 4 mana Restoration Angel up changes everything. Look how hesitant he is to attack.
Misbind click?
Yeah, it's like if it's Snapcaster Mage, you know, I'm okay to make that trade, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure that card in his hand is Combust, so he's kind of baiting him into, I'm afraid.
He does have a Combust and Ancient Grudge in his hand.
Yeah, I'm afraid even though I'm not actually afraid.
Dusty's now at 7, facing down 5 power worth of guys.
Is it time?
It looks like it's time.
I think it's time.
There's the Singleton Day of Judgment.
It's a good time too. Because
Pro Tour stamped.
Pro Tour stamp? Because not only does it kill stuff, but he's got the 2 mana up for his mana leak, provided he doesn't draw a human with Cavern.
He drew the Gavany Township to go with none of his creatures.
Yeah. So now it would have been insane last turn.
Yeah, that would have been lethal.
Insane. So he pulled the trigger on Day at the perfect time. And now
What is this?
Sphinxing? Yeah.
Sphinx time. Big Papa's home.
And he's angry. Big Papa's home from work and he's been drinking.
That Combust. He's been drinking.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That Combust is looking a little shy here.
Not so good. Not so good.
He needs a second one. Pair it with a bonfire or something. Does he have 2 bonfires in his deck?
He has 2 bonfires in his sideboard. But
Any other burn spells?
nope, he's got 2 Combust that can kill it. He has access to it, 1 Oblivion Ring main, 1 Oblivion Ring sword.
He's going to need one of those Oblivion Rings in a hurry.
What he's going to need is Zealous Conscripts.
Zealous Conscripts, yes.
Which he can make uncounterable is what he's going to need. And that's if the 4 cards that Dusty has drawn in the meantime don't deal with that.
Our Vapor Snag?
You know, a Vapor Snag, a Snapcaster Mage, a Restoration Angel. There are so many things that are going to take care of that part, that plan. Even a chump blocker.
Anything, you're right. Looks like Dusty's transformation to blue-white control has put him in great position here.
I mean, this game has he couldn't draw up a better game.
He played it really well.
You know, just everything kind of went the way that he wanted it to. He found his Day of Judgment with the Ponder, you know, which is, you know, a little fortunate. You can say lucky if you want to, but, you know, that's why Ponder and those cantrips are in the deck, to be able to find the one-ofs in the deck.
Right.
You know, and so he's been able to find and set up his game plan. He's executed his game plan perfectly, even to getting them to combust the guy, which is basically a waste of removal spell, and everything.
Yeah,
so,
he could have 2 combusts here for the Sphinx, and he could be back in the game.
Yeah.
Dusty's going to Snapcaster.
He's going to Snapcaster, snag that.
Snag back the Birds of Paradise as Daniel.
Dusty's already up 4 cards from Sphinx. He's going to be up 2 more after you know his play on this turn.
And Delver flips.
Yeah, it's the snowballing that I've been talking about all weekend. That once this deck gets ahead,
Consecrated Sphinx, you know, really puts you in the unlosable position.
Yeah,
usually.
If you don't kill Consecrated Sphinx like 1 turn after it's been in play, the game is like over. You have to get horribly lucky to win at that point. And now he's even looking at Tameo.
Tameo, Moreland Haunt, Phantasmal Image.
I think he's going to keep Tameo on top just so that he can lock the Cavern of Souls, so that the out that we think he has is Zealous Conscript's uncounterable. That's going to shut that out now too.
The Vapor Snag, yeah.
That's going to shut out
huge.
the uncountable zealous conscripts taking consecrated sphinx to win the game.
Who knew Unsummon could be so good?
It's way too good right now. It's way too good.
Combustification. Fries up Insectal Aberration. But Daniel's still taking 6 to the Nugget.
All right, going to 8. 2. Image
Another
on
Sphinx?
my Sphinx. Yep.
Yikes.
That combust would be okay. You're a little late. I'm already dead.
I was wondering if you're going to fire off the Natalie and Brugler.
Ah.
How could you resist?
How can I not? She's a delight.
Dusty just drew 4 cards on Daniel's draw step.
Yeah, that was coming.
That was that.
That was coming soon. See, the thing that happens when you sideboard against Delver with the Birthing Pod deck is that you have to bring in a card like Combust, like, non-spell cards, and then you remove the density of creatures from your deck that you're not actually going to be able to, attack them aggressively like he was able to in Game 2 or Game 3. So you have all these answers to their threats, but they want you to answer their threats because they want to play a longer game with you.